At 9 o'clock, I believe we're all here. I'll do a quick check-in. Denny, can you hear us? Okay, Marie,
Loud and clear, thank you.
thank you. Jack?
Yes, good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Jack. And John?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to call to order the Nicollet County Board of Commissioners meeting of May 11th, 2021 to order. We're going to first do the flag pledge. And County Engineer Greenwood, this is your day, so we're going to have you lead us in the pledge.
Right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, thank you very much. I'm going to remind folks to silence cell phones and to mute their microphones unless they're speaking. That would be very helpful. Today's meeting, due to the COVID-19 pandemic and resulting state and federal emergency declarations and guidance about limiting unnecessary person-to-person contact, the May 11th, 2021 Nicollet County Board meeting and Drainage Authority meeting will be conducted under Minnesota Statute 13D.021, meetings by telephone or other electronic means. County Board and Drainage Authority members will participate by telephone or other electronic means. We're going to turn to approval of the agenda. And Ms. Lewis, you were kind enough to update a piece of information in there. Could you describe what we updated?
Yes, there are two things on. Well, the first thing on the agenda is it's in the consent agenda, but it's the approval of the minutes. There's a human error that has been corrected. The motion needed to be written properly. So I did do that, and I did email all of the commissioners this morning with that corrected motion.
Okay, so we'll deal with that one right now, Abby, and then when we get to consent agenda, we'll talk about the boat contract.
Yep.
So folks, there's just a change to one of the materials you got. Any changes to the agenda? Seeing none, I invite a motion to approve the agenda.
Also move and add that it
second.
is Minnesota Statehood Day, the 163rd birthday of Minnesota as a state.
Wonderful. That's great to know. Thank you. Commissioner Lipke makes a motion. Kemp seconds. Ms. Lewis, if you would take the roll on the motion.
Lipke,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Kolars,
Yes.
Drunell,
Yes,
Morrow.
Yes, the motion's approved. The agenda is also approved. We're going to move to the consent agenda. We have one technical change to one item. And again, I'm going to turn to Ms. Lewis.
Yes, there was a change on the boat contract that Sheriff Ling provided. The only change was the date on the contract. No items of the contract have changed, just the end date to allow for time to purchase the boat.
So Ms. Lewis, that's what's going on here. The date change is simply reflecting the county's ability to literally get the boat and that make sure it complies with the grant time period.
Correct.
Okay. Commissioners, I would invite a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Kemp would move the consent agenda.
John will second.
Commissioner Kemp moves, Commissioner Lipke seconds motion to approve the consent agenda. Ms. Lewis, if you would take the roll, please.
Kemp,
Yes.
Lipke,
Yes.
Kolars,
Yes.
Drunell,
yes,
Morrow.
Yes, the consent agenda is approved. We'll turn to public appearances. If anyone on this call is hoping to make a public appearance, if you would please let us know now. You can unmute your phone if you're on the Zoom, and then Ms. Lewis, I assume there's nobody here. Okay, there's nobody here. Is anybody on the call hoping to make a public appearance? Seeing none, we'll move to the Health and Human Services portion of the agenda and the proclamation for May as National Mental Health Month. Director Sassenberg.
Good morning. We have submitted an agenda item this morning for the proclamation of May as Mental Health Month. We had one change in the agenda item, as we will have Joel Feenan presenting the proclamation for us this morning. We just wanted to emphasize the importance of mental health in our communities, especially in light of the pandemic. And we've seen, of course, an increase in need and importance. So Joel, I'll turn it over to you to read the proclamation for us this morning.
Thank you. Whereas mental health is essential to overall physical health and emotional well-being, and whereas there is a need to recognize that mental illness affects the lives of many of our citizens and residents of all ages and sectors, and whereas regardless of age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, and economic status, 1 in 5 adults experience mental illness. 17% of youth ages 6 to 17 years of age experience a mental health disorder, and 1 in 20 adults experience serious mental illness. And whereas people who have mental illnesses can lead full and productive lives, and whereas the average delay between symptom onset and treatment is 11 years, and whereas an estimated 90% of those who die by suicide have experienced symptoms of mental health condition, and 46% of people who die by suicide have a diagnosed mental health condition, and whereas suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, and whereas stigma continues to be a significant barrier to people getting the help they need, and whereas the cause of untreated and mistreated mental illnesses to American families and governments continue to grow, and whereas community-based services that respond to individual and family needs are cost-effective and beneficial to consumers and the community, and whereas Nicollet County observes Mental Health Month every May to raise awareness and understanding of the importance of mental health. Now, therefore, I, Terry Morrow, as chairperson of the Commissioners of the County of Nicollet, Minnesota, on behalf of the entire county and staff, do hereby proclaim May of 2021 as National Mental Health Month. I urge all citizens of Nicollet County, Minnesota to become involved to increase awareness and understanding of mental health and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people who have mental illnesses. Date 5/11/2021.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Feenan, for joining us this morning.
Thank you. I just would like to add one thing. I do speak for a group called NAMI, National Alliance for Mental Illness. I've been speaking for them for 7 years now. One of the things that I do is I help promote and educate people on the stigma of mental illness, and also the fact that I do give my personal story and involved with it. I've given speeches all the way from Ely, Minnesota, all the way over to Fergus Falls, Minnesota, all the way down to Albert Lea, Minnesota, Mankato, St. Peter area at Gustavus, and more importantly, also at St. Ben's up in the cities, or up in St. Joseph, sorry, and then also in the cities.
Well, that's fantastic work that you're doing. I know we're all very grateful to you for being here today, for traveling the state, and for addressing very serious matters. So we're grateful to you. I would ask other commissioners if they have anything to share with Mr. Feenan. If not, what I think I'll turn to, I'm going to invite a motion to adopt the proclamation. I think it'd be a good idea for the board to weigh in.
I so move.
Okay,
Simple
Commissioner
second.
Drano moves, Commissioner Lipke seconds. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Ms. Lewis, if you would take the roll, please.
Journal,
Yes.
Lipke,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Kolars,
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes, the motion passes. The proclamation, excuse me, is adopted. Director Sassenberg, before we move on, I would ask you if you or your staff have information to share.
We are celebrating mental health awareness this month throughout the county by promoting people wearing green, sending out facts to do with mental health. And we are also hosting another picnic in the park for May as Mental Health Month. And Missy, did you have that information to invite the board?
Yeah, we were hoping if you guys would like to join us, it would be great. We're doing that next Thursday, the 20th. And that's at Spring Lake Park. It's going to be in the pavilion over by Lake Street and Webster Avenue. And it's from 11 to 1. We'll just have some food prepackaged and things, of course, with the pandemic. We're trying to make it safe, but just some outdoor picnic. And hopefully many of our members will be there. And if any of you can join, that would be great. So.
Well, Ms. Taylor, thank you so much for that invitation. That's fantastic. What I probably will ask, if you could just shoot us a quick email with those details, that would be very helpful.
Yes, I will do that.
Great, thank you. Director Sassenberg?
That is all we have this morning. Thank you for having us.
Well, I think that maybe at this point, it might be just as good a time as any to ask you if there's any other updates, maybe pandemic related, that you'd like to share.
Sure. I could just give a brief update on our ongoing vaccine efforts in the last week or so. We had seen a significant decline in participation in vaccine clinics. Lots of encouragement and social media posting for attendance. We did start receiving Johnson & Johnson vaccine again, which has allowed us to do some more of like pop-up opportunities for people because they don't need to come back for a second dose. So we did advertise a drive-through clinic in St. Peter and a drive-through clinic in North Mankato, both of which were picked up by several news outlets, which ended up creating much more participation in either clinic than had been expected, which was wonderful. I can't be 100% sure about these numbers, but I believe we only had maybe 13 people signed up for the clinic last night, and we had 51 in attendance.
Oh.
It was great. And so what we're finding is that people they really want us to come out into the community, come to them instead of them coming to our offices. And anywhere that we can provide flexibility and drive through has also really increased attendance. So that's been exciting. In terms of case numbers, our numbers continue to decrease. We've seen an average of about 5 cases a day, much less contact tracing need. And so we assume we'll be looking at wrapping up the county's local contact tracing here at the end of May when school gets out, since the need has started to decrease so much.
That's wonderful. Thank you also for keeping us up to date on FDA's expected approval of the Pfizer vaccine for the 12 to 15-year-old group. I know as of Friday, Nicollet County was at 59% in terms of vaccination rate for 16 and older. I'm guessing we ticked up a little bit?
I haven't looked at the data this morning, but I would assume so. It's interestingly, over the weekend at the drive-through clinic, I think we're pulling from the whole region of people coming in to participate in the clinics. So it'll be interesting to see how, when we get, dig into the numbers, what the percentage is for Nicollet County versus our entire region.
And of course, I'll say this, I guess, for myself, we encourage people to get the vaccination. We all know about the 70% vaccination rate. That's a statewide number for masks and face coverings. So we thank you. We certainly would want to help you and your staff in any way we can. Let me ask commissioners if you have any questions for Director Sassenberg. Commissioner Kemp?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Kemp, are you seeking to join in?
No, I'm not. Thank you.
That was
Okay, I
me,
just saw you were
Terry.
unmuted. Okay, Commissioner Lipke.
Cassie, with the Johnson & Johnson, have you seen younger women shy away from that or not?
We have not, no. There's
Okay.
been a lot of interest in receiving that vaccine.
Thank you, thank you. And
And oh, go ahead.
I did notice that on KNUJ in New Ulm that, I don't know if it's Tony Berg himself or if it's the Brown County Commissioners are having ads encouraging people to get the shots.
Great, thank you. Director Sassenberg, anything to close out here?
I was just going to add that it does look like we are up to 60% for overall vaccine right now in Nicollet County. And you had mentioned specifically ticking up with our recent clinics. And so I would add, I think in, excuse me, in the next week or so, that increase will be seen more directly related to Nicollet County because a lot of our clinics are going to be held in-house at some businesses and apartment complexes. They've invited us in to do on-site clinics. So we'll continue to provide updates around those numbers.
It's been more than a year and you all are still amazingly energetic. I know tired. Thank you for your work. Commissioner Kolars.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Cassie and Mandy and others who put out these advisories on the social media. I know many of us as commissioners share those with our social media followers. So any continuation of that is very helpful, it seems. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you. One final thing I would say is, would you please congratulate Amanda Vortherms on completing probation? We're all excited that we've reached that milestone. So please share our congratulations.
I will. Thank you.
We're going to turn to Public Works and County Engineer Green, talking about the Highway Department's 2020 annual report.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board and staff. As the chair indicated, I'm here to submit the Highway Department's 2020 annual report. It's a pretty exciting document, but I don't think it'll make the New York Times bestseller list for sure. So I was just going to touch on a few highlights in the report. I was not going to go through it in any kind of detail because I'll probably put everybody completely to sleep. But on the cover, that is aerial shot that Nate took last fall of the new County Road 21 bridge near Fort Ridgely State Park. I don't know if any of you have been out and been able to drive over it, but that project turned out really, really good. And we're quite happy with the structure. If you would go to page 1, and these aren't almost page numbers, they're more like section numbers in the report, but I don't know if you can see it. It says state aid at the top. Yeah, that sheet. Basically, everything in this report boils down to this one main sheet, and this report or this sheet goes into MnDOT state aid to justify the expenditure of our state aid construction and maintenance dollars. If we can then go to section 5, page 5, it shows a listing of all the townships in Nicollet County. And if you're ever curious how much state aid funding that each township gets in Nicollet County, this is the page that you would go to. And so those funds flow, that total fund amount flows into the county, and then we distribute that money out based on road mileage in each one of those townships, and that's how that money gets split out. The next sheet I was going to touch base on just quickly, it's labeled 10B. And it looks like, I don't know if you guys can see, but it looks like this sheet. And what I wanted to point out on this sheet is the ending fund balance for road and bridge, and we're a little bit over $14 million in our fund balance. And that fund balance is made up of a bunch of different funds. We got unreserved funds, undesignated funds, restricted, and committed. But what I just wanted to point out here is we have healthy dollars in our fund balance. Yep, that's the sheet right there on the screen. The next sheet, it's just the next page down in the report. From this section going further on in the report, this is just where you can really start drilling down into much more detailed information on what it costs per mile for all the different maintenance and construction activities that we do on our county road system. And on this sheet, this is just the overall summary, and you can see what it costs on a per mile basis to maintain our state aid regular county system, the municipal state aid system, and those municipal miles are county road mileage, state aid county mileage within municipal boundaries of cities of population 5,000 or less. And then the county roads, those are the roads that are funded primarily just through the county levy. And you can see we're anywhere from about $8,900 a mile to $9,400 a mile. And those municipal maintenance miles, they're always a little bit more expensive because there's more pavement per mile of road within those communities.
Director Greenwood, I believe you've muted.
I must have hit my keyboard. Can you hear me now?
We can, thank you.
Okay. If you go to the next page down, it'll be number 12, it should say on the bottom. This starts breaking down those cost per miles a little bit more. The one question I get a lot is, well, geez, how much did it cost to take care of snow and ice in the county, on the county road system for the year? And for 2020, and this report's based on the calendar year. So for snow and ice removal in 2 different snow seasons, it was just shy of $800,000 to remove snow and ice on the county road system. Now, if we go to the next page after this one, from this point on, you can really get down into details. All the subsequent pages break each road down by the different types of maintenance and construction activities that we do on each road segment. And so if you're ever just dying to know how much was spent on road 1, these are the sheets that you can go to find that information. The next section, if you get back to section 16, it's going to start with a page that looks like this. If you're curious about any of the ongoing construction projects and the cost to do those projects, the engineering that's going into those projects, right away that's being purchased, from this section 16 and pages following that breaks down those projects if you're curious about those costs also. And the last item I wanted to touch base on, if you're ever curious about the actual road mileage that we maintain, how many miles, say, County Road 1 is, and how many miles of that is either gravel, bituminous, or concrete. There's 3 sheets here towards the end of the report that has all that information also listed out. And so those are just a couple of the sections that I wanted to touch base on. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. on this item, but I'm just looking today for the board to acknowledge receipt of the Nicollet County Highway Department's 2020 annual report. By state statute, this is a required report that needs to be submitted to the county board every year.
Mr. Chair, I'll move it.
Kemp will second.
Commissioner Kolars moves, Commissioner Kemp seconds, a motion to acknowledge receipt of the plan. Discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I could, thanks to
Commissioner Kolars.
thanks to Seth for this complete report. I'm old enough to remember when the previous county engineer would provide financials, and it was on pages that are this long and very high. And Seth has really done a terrific job in his office of putting this together in what is a more unique and condensed version. How do you see, Seth, this report in comparison to the reports that you put together in the past, especially related to costs and of upkeeping our roads?
This report falls in line with all the other reports I've submitted. Of course, you know, with inflation and increase in costs and parts and whatnot, our costs do incrementally go up every year. And I guess that's just a general statement I could probably make. This is probably the 13th report that I've submitted to the county board, and every year our overall costs, they do creep up.
Certainly that would be expected. Thank you for the report. It's much appreciated.
Commissioner Lipke, I see you're unmuted. Did you want to speak?
Oh, I was going to make the second before, and
Oh, okay.
I forgot to unmute myself.
Okay. Any other commissioners have any questions or comments on the report? Seeing none, Ms. Lewis, would you take the roll on the motion to acknowledge receipt of the Nicollet County Highway Department's 2020 annual report?
Kolars,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Lipke,
Yes.
Journal,
yes,
Morrow.
Yes, the motion passes. We, Mr. Greenwood, we acknowledge receipt.
Thank you. And if any board member happens to peruse through this document, you know, after today, and any questions come to mind, feel free to call or email me, and be more than happy to dig down into getting whatever information that you're looking for.
Well, Mr. Greenwood, could I ask you if you have other information maybe on projects or like that you'd like to bring to the board?
Yeah, I can give a quick update on current construction going on. County Road 14, work has been actively going on that project probably since middle to early April. We are loving this dry weather that we're getting this spring. We've made tons of progress on that project, and we're hoping potentially towards the end of next week the possibility of being able to reopen County Road 14 to traffic. The curb and gutter is done, the paving is all done. They're working on final topsoil placements, seeding, erosion control type items this week. Possibly guardrail may go in later this week or early next week. And then really the final piece after that is to stripe the road and pull the barricades. So we're getting very excited to be able to open this project up to the traveling public. We would like a little rain now at this point, because that seed that's in the ground doesn't want to germinate with it being so dry. So a little moisture and some warm weather would be appreciated at this point. County Road 12, we are still waiting for surcharge settlement to occur. Mathewitz Construction did a little work earlier this spring, doing some finished topsoil grading and placement north of the pond area, and that area has been seeded and erosion control items have been put down. I have an email into Braun Intertech, who is our geotech consultant, and they look at all the settlement data that we send into them. I got an email into them seeing what the trend line is looking for that settlement, if we're starting to slow down or if it's staying consistent. So when I hear something back on that, I can definitely update you guys, but we're still in a waiting and holding pattern on that settlement. Once that settlement stops or is so slow, Brian will give us the go ahead to be able to remove that and finish the project. But again, we're just in a wait and see and seeing how that settlement occurs. So that's kind of the two big projects that are going on right now.
Wonderful. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Greenwood? Commissioner Kolars, are you raising your hand? Okay. Well, Mr. Greenwood, thank you very much. Thank you for the report. Thank you for the update. It's remarkable, given our visit out on 14 and seeing the extent of the work that was needed to be so close to completion. As it tribute not only to the contractors, but to you and your staff.
Yeah, it's very exciting just how bad of a situation that we had going on there. Now we're at the point of having the repair almost complete and open to traffic. It's very exciting.
Well, Mr. Greenwood, please stay around because we're going to move to the next agenda item we have, which is about reappointing the county engineer. Administrator Landcamer.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I am very excited to pursue the next agenda item regarding the resolution reappointing County Engineer Seth Greenwood for another 4-year appointment. As per Minnesota Statute 163.07, the county engineer needs to be reappointed in the May of the year that they are expiring. It's a 4-year term. And the resolution highlights the history of Mr. Greenwood's appointment and the going forward as far as the time frame with it. So I would like to take the few moments to read the resolution into the record. Resolution reappointing county engineer. Whereas on June 8th, 2008, the Nicollet County Board of Commissioners appointed Mr. Seth Greenwood to the position of Nicollet County Highway Engineer, Public Works Director. And whereas the Nicollet County Board of Commissioners since May 26, 2009 have subsequently reappointed Mr. Greenwood to the position of Nicollet County Highway Engineer, Public Works Director for 4 4-year terms. And whereas, as allowed for in Minnesota Statute 163.07, Subdivision 2, the Board of Commissioners made Mr. Greenwood's current appointment for a period of 4 years from May 26, 2017 through May 25th of 2021. And whereas Minnesota Statutes 163.07 Subdivision 2 states that all reappointments shall be for a term of 4 years and shall be made in May of the year of which the term expires. And whereas Mr. Greenwood was reappointed by the County Board from May 26, 2017 through May 25th, 2021. And whereas Mr. Greenwood's annual performance evaluations have all met or exceeded expectation ratings. Now therefore be it resolved that on May 11th, 2021, the Nicollet County Board of Commissioners does hereby take official action to reappoint Mr. Seth Greenwood to a 4-year term as Nicollet County Highway Engineer, Public Works Director beginning effective May 26th, 2021 through May 25th, 2025, dated this 11th day of May, 2021. Therefore, my recommendation, and I'm honored to make this recommendation, is to reappoint Mr. Greenwood for another 4-year term as County Engineer, Public Works Director.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you for reading the resolution. Commissioner Kolars.
Mr. Chair, if my colleagues will allow me, I would like to approve this reappointment of our county engineer and say that in my experience working with transportation throughout the state of Minnesota through Association of Minnesota Counties and other entities, it is very important to keep and retain good engineers, and I think we have one here in Mr. Greenwood. And so that is the motion. I will move to approve. Thank you.
Temple second the motion and reiterate what Commissioner Kolars has indicated. We're very proud to have Seth working with him, and I'm honored to spend time with him on the various pursuits of our board. Thank you.
Commissioner Kolars moves, Commissioner Kemp seconds a motion to adopt the resolution reappointing the county engineer. Any discussion?
The only other discussion, Mr. Chair, is finding new engineers is not easy. It's best to keep young people like we have here and grow them to become even better engineers. And we have one in Mr. Greenwood.
Thank you. Seeing no additional comments, Ms. Lewis, would you please take the roll on the motion?
Kolars,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Jenna,
yes,
Lipke,
Yes,
Yes,
Morrow.
the resolution is adopted unanimously. Congratulations, Mr. Greenwood. I would echo the praise, and I would also note any department head is as good as the staff working with the department head, and we congratulate and thank your staff for all they do in conjunction with you to make today a very easy resolution to pass.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Lipke.
I got a text from Mary Milbrath that she's on the Zoom meeting by phone and unable to be heard. So I think she was trying to make the public appearance.
Okay,
Well,
I
don't know what we
appreciate
can do
that.
about it.
Well, Commissioner Lipke, I appreciate you letting us know. Ms. Lewis, do we know which one?
Let me just,
I think it's 1466 is her digits of her phone. Yes.
I have one call-in number and it's a 388 number. I did ask that
That's her
individual
number.
to,
Okay.
that is, oh, Mary, are you there?
I am. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you.
John.
Thank you for your patience. Please introduce yourself. I think maybe Commissioner Lipke mentioned where you live, and then you can proceed with your public comment.
Thank you very much. This is Mary Milbrath with Belgrade Township, and we received a letter from the variance request for John and Leanne Hurley. We did attend that meeting as representatives of Belgrade Township, and it was for a variance of a setback. Our setback for the township is 35 feet, and it was marked and it was surveyed, and they overlooked the stakes. Actually, they were broken off and built into the setback amount. Granted, it was not a lot. It's 9 inches. However, we have had numerous complaints from residents about allowing these variances to happen. So it says to appeal the Board of Commissioners within 30 days. The 30 days is up May 19th. So I don't know if that's the right route to go to the Board of Commissioners, or if we need to do something else. The letter states that. That's why I'm going to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that. And normally in public comment, what we do as a board is what most public bodies do. We accept the comment, we listen to the comment, and in case like this, we will turn to staff to help inform us. My initial understanding is the Board of Commissioners does not act on this matter, but I may be wrong, and I'd like to make sure that we're right. So what we'll do is we will work with staff and we will make sure that somebody communicates back to you. Is that okay?
That's perfectly fine. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you again for your patience. I apologize that we didn't get you in earlier.
Not a problem. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
We're gonna move to the, I'm sorry. I assume there was nothing in addition from Mr. Greenwood, so we're gonna turn to our county attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like to start by thanking the board for recognizing Mental Health Month and the importance of supporting services to address mental health struggles and recovery in our community. We certainly see it at all aspects of our work here in the County Attorney's Office, so that support and recognition is very appreciated. In terms of updates from my office, we are starting to see an uptick in requests for community presentations. And so we've done a fraud presentation, and I spoke yesterday at the Senior Center regarding the criminal justice process. And so it is very exciting to be out and presenting live again versus all by Zoom. And finally, I'd just like to start putting it on everyone's radar for an event that we're tentatively scheduled for October 7th in Mankato on Tall Copstead Stop. There'll be a professional training and a community night to bring awareness to chemical use in our community. So we're excited to hopefully have that presentation in person in October. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for the county attorney? I feel though I say it every meeting, which is fine. You all are doing an amazing outreach job in your department. I hope you all are proud of the work you're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We enjoy getting out and serving whatever needs the community has for information. So thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, I'm going to turn to other department heads. I'm going to start with County Sheriff Lang. Sheriff Lang, I don't know if you have anything to share with the board this morning.
Well, nothing really, other than it is National Law Enforcement Week this week as well. I just wanted to point that out to everybody. That's business as usual.
I'm sorry, Sheriff Lang, I had a little bit of a problem hearing you. I think you may have said, is it Law Enforcement Week?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. Well, please pass our gratitude to everyone working in your department for the work you do for our community.
Will do, thanks.
Director McCormick.
Good morning. Just a short update on the American Rescue Plan. They opened the portal where government entities can start making their request for the funds. They had the U.S. Treasury had a short meeting yesterday. Provide a little bit of information, real high level, and they're hoping to get more and more guidance out as the weeks progress. They had 2 sessions yesterday. One, they capped at 1,000 attendees, which obviously they capped pretty fast. So then, Mandy was able to attend that one, and then I was able to get into the later one. So we'll be soon requesting for Nicollet County.
Well, that's wonderful. We're grateful to you for keeping us on the right trajectory here in terms of the ARPA money. It almost sounds like you're trying to call Ticketmaster to get concert tickets to these things. Any questions for Ms. McCormick? All right, thank you very much. Ms. Copit.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Our department's busy collecting taxes as May 15th is right around the corner. And May 15th falls on a Saturday, so it is on the 17th, on Monday is the final tax day. We've been using social media as a public outreach for different ways to pay your taxes, and they're coming in fast and furious.
Wonderful. Commissioner Kolars.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just noticed here last week that some metro counties, it seemed like Anoka was giving some sort of a forgiveness, Jackie. We hadn't made any decisions on extending. What are you seeing from some of your comparable counties?
We've had a discussion with area counties, and there is not a lot of extensions or penalty forgiveness happening. I think there is 1 or 2 metro counties that are considering it, but nothing local. And even with last year's, we had a very high percentage of tax payments. So not anticipating to see any reduction of tax payments.
And if I could, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Kolars.
I'm sorry. So last year we learned that taxes were coming in as at a usual rate. And can you give us a gauge as to how that's happening in this cycle?
I don't have an exact gauge yet as we're posting batches and getting our large escrows in right now. So it's a little bit harder right now to do that, but I have not seen any indication that the property taxes are going to be reduced. The payments will be lower than ever. So we are just going along as usual here.
Thank you.
Other commissioners? Seeing none, thank you very much for that report. That's very helpful. I'm going to turn to Chair's report, and my only report is I believe that I was remiss in thanking the board and staff following my recent minor surgery, and I'm very grateful to how everyone was stepping in and helping out, and that made recovery even easier. So thank you all. I will turn to commissioners for reports. Commissioner Kemp, you're unmuted, so you're going first.
Okay, my report includes my participation in recent committees, the Education for Success teleconference, our DDA meeting with Gary Weirs, our special board meeting, AMC Education and Training Committee meeting, and the MRCI Executive Board meeting. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Kemp. Commissioner Lipke.
Thank you. Attended the Rush River meeting, the special county board meeting, met with Gary from David Drown Associates, and I did attend the Tourism Person of the Year Award in New Ulm.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Lipke, I think we lost you at the very end. We heard about the person in New Ulm. What's the last thing we got? Commissioner Lipke, I'm going to turn to Commissioner Drano.
Thank you. I also attended the Rush River Joint Powers Board meeting, met with Gary with David Drown Associates, did some department head evaluations with Commissioner Kolars. We have done a lot of union Zooming and negotiations and personnel related things with the Personnel Committee.
Wonderful, thank you. Commissioner Kolars.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, Commissioner Dranto and I have seen a lot of each other with labor negotiations, special board meeting, the DDA interview with Gary Weirs, along with Toward Zero Deaths, Maple, labor negotiations. Did I mention that? And today's county board.
Well, thank you. And thank you both, Commissioner Kolars, Commissioner Drownell. The Personnel Committee has been very busy. You're doing an important work, and we're grateful that you're both able to carry out these tasks as they have stacked up in the recent weeks. I'm going to turn to commissioner meetings and conferences. I don't know of anything immediately coming up. I'll turn to others if you know of anything. It doesn't look as though we do. I'll invite a motion to approve per diems and expenses.
Kemp and move it.
John seconds.
Kemp moves, Lipke seconds, a motion to approve per diems and expenses. Ms. Lewis, if you would take the roll, please.
Kemp,
Yes.
Lipke,
Yes.
Kolars,
Yes.
Drennel,
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes, the motion is approved. I'll now invite a motion to adjourn the Board of Commissioners meeting.
Kemp will move it.
Second.
Kemp moves, Kolar seconds, adjournment of the Board of Commissioners meeting. Ms. Lewis, if you would take the roll, please.
Kemp,
Yes.
Kolars,
Yes.
Lipke,
Yes.
Drennel,
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes, the Board of Commissioners meeting is adjourned. We're going to now call the Drainage Authority meeting to order. We have one consent agenda item. I invite a motion to approve the consent agenda item.
Kemp will move the consent agenda.
Kemp moves, Randall seconds, approval of the consent agenda. Ms. Lewis, if you would take the roll, please.
Kemp,
Yes.
Drennel,
Yes.
Lipke,
Yes.
Kolars,
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes, the consent agenda is approved. We're turning now to the County Ditch 86A improvement change order. Who's going to take the lead on this?
Well, I'll introduce the item. So the County Ditch 86A improvement project is rolling on, and there is a change order that's being requested for a recommendation to add a head wall to the isolation gate. This change order would allow the ability to shut off the water to the pumping system for future maintenance and repairs. And we do have Chuck Randall from ISG on the call that can present on this.
Well, Mr. Brandel, do you have, good morning, good to see you here. Do you have information to share with us?
I do, and if you want more detail, I can share my screen and show you exactly what we're talking about if you'd like me to go into a little bit more detail. Is that all right?
I think that'd be a good idea. Thank you.
Chuck, I
All
should
right.
have just given you permissions.
Yep, I just saw your note. Thank you. So, oh, no, I want screen 2. There we go. Okay, sorry. Can you see my screen?
Now we can.
All right. So just a quick update. I think most of you understand County Ditch 86A. It's a 4,200 acre watershed. We were replacing the old lift station with a new lift station. Here's a picture from February, a little different than this. There's the start of the station. Here's some more pictures. We're currently at culvert was put in last week. This picture on the right is a picture from yesterday. The top of the station is on, so we're getting close. So the comment here, or the change order would be water flows in this way. There's a culvert, and then here's the pump station, would be to put a gate right here. So that way we can isolate if any maintenance needs to be done on the lift station. We could put a tractor pump or something around, or we can stop the flow in and essentially not have, have the station isolated. So again, I'll just show you from this perspective, water comes in this way. We're proposing a gate right here, and that would shut off this entire area so we could perform maintenance on that. When we bid the gate, we were anticipating putting it on the end of the culvert. When we got the shop drawings, we realized that the gate if the concrete pipe is not thick enough, and it will not work on the end of the culvert as planned. So we put together a drawing for a concrete head wall. This would go on the end of the pipe, and the slide gate would go in right here. And it'd just be an up and down slide gate. It'd be open, all the time unless we needed to do maintenance on the system. The current contractor is Lametti & Sons. They gave us a price for this head wall for approximately $25,000, $25,190. Here's a picture of what the gate looks like. This is their detail. So looking at it, the slide gate would shut off flow for maintenance. The head wall was needed because after the submittal process, the slide gate will not work without a head wall. So our options are to either add the head wall and include the slide gate. The initial bid for the slide gate was $21,000. The change order is $25,000. Our original estimate was $45,000. So it'd be the total slide gate would be about $46,190. If we approve the change order, we still have a net benefit on the project of just under $36,000. As far as I know, at this point, we don't have any overruns on the project. So things are going smoothly at this point. So our options are to either approve the change order, not approve it, and we would have to add it in the future if maintenance is needed on the system. We could try to get another quote for the head wall. But I think based on my conversations with staff, this is something that is important for maintenance of the system. You know, as we, you know, over time, we are going to need to do maintenance on this pump system. It is a mechanical system, and to have a way to shut off the water fairly quickly and easily is important for the project. So I guess we're recommending moving forward with the change order at this time. So.
Thank you, Mr. Brandel. Mr. Greenwood or Mr. Henry, do you have information you'd like to share with the board?
I don't know if Nate or I have any additional new information, but I think it's very important that we have a reliable way to shut off the water and isolate the system to perform maintenance on the pumping station. And it will need maintenance eventually. If this slide gate doesn't get installed, really the only other way to shut the water off is basically push dirt into the ditch as deep as the pipe is and close it off. But there's risk in doing that. You will probably end up with, you know, soil and debris in the pipe. And as that soil becomes saturated and as much water as you could stack up behind it, you could potentially have a blowout and have a big flood of water and mud coming into the pump system. So I see a lot of risk going that route, and so I'm in very much support of doing this correctly and having the slide gate installed properly.
Thank you, Mr. Greenwood. Mr. Henry, anything in addition?
No, Seth and I have talked about this quite a bit, and we both agree that if we're going to build it once, we should do it right and include the slide gate.
Okay. Commissioners, I invite a motion to approve the change order.
I do want to make one comment, Chuck. The benefits is a little bit closer than the benefits that you reiterated. I think you were using the estimate of 810,000, and the actual benefits for the project was 796,000. So that leaves 48,213. So it does still leave room for the 25,000, but it leaves $23,213 in benefits remaining.
Okay. You could argue that this is a maintenance item too, but I guess at this point, I don't think we need to go that route. So.
Okay. Commissioners, is there a motion to approve the change order?
For discussion purposes, I'll move the change order at this point.
Wonderful. Thank you, Commissioner. Is there a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the change order. Commissioner Drano, did you want to go first?
I guess I would have thought something like this would have been with the original design.
Mr. Brandel.
Yes. Well, when we did look at it, we thought we could make this work on the concrete pipe. And just after getting the shop drawings, it wouldn't be watertight. And so essentially we're adding a piece right here, if you can see it, that the slide gate would go into to make sure that we have a watertight connection. So the slide gate that we did spec says it is for an 84-inch concrete pipe. But after review of the shop drawings, it wouldn't work as planned. So this is something that we would need to have added either way, whether it was before or now. And the breakdown of the costs from the contractor is here. I did look up, this is a very unique item, so I couldn't find another example of it. A standard apron for an 84-inch concrete pipe is probably about half the cost of this. That'd be something that would be pre-fabricated in the concrete plant. The bids that I've seen are about half the cost. So I don't think this cost is necessarily out of line. We are getting a 10% markup. It's through a subcontractor. So but that's typical when you have a contract like this, so.
Commissioner Drannell? No? Okay. Other commissioners?
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Lipke, then Commissioner Kemp.
I think this is probably a necessary evil. I can't vote because I'm one of the petitioners. But Chuck, you do know there's going to be some, I don't know what the word would be, but not good feelings. There's a lot of hard feelings on this project already between, you know, some of the petitioners and the other people. So just keep that in mind. Thank you.
Commissioner Kemp.
Just so I'm clear, Chuck, if you can help me understand this a little bit, the slide gate was originally spec'd, but the original assumption was that the gating system would, in essence, attach itself to the end of the 84-inch pipe. Is that how I heard that?
Correct, that it would go over the top of this pipe. I tried to bring this picture in, that it would come like right here.
Okay.
And the thickness of the pipe, it just, the way it connects, the pipe's not thick enough for it to connect onto it. So.
Because it would impair the structural strength of the pipe if
Correct.
we tried to fasten this to it. Is that the theory?
Yes. Yep.
So then what you're proposing in the change order, just so I understand that the end view that I'm seeing here, you're actually building a concrete slot, if you will, that the gate will then pass through in front of that existing pipe without making a structural attachment to the existing pipe. Is that right?
Correct. The gate would slide in right here.
Okay.
And then this is the concrete head wall, and then the end of the head wall would essentially give it a base to hold it in place.
Because arguably, if we attached it and we had a failure or too much load, the end of the pipe could fail and cause even greater damage.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So
good explanation.
I'm not a hydrologist, so I don't understand the dynamics of that, and I will ask this stupid question and rank it as such. But why is the gate on the exiting side of the pipe versus the intake side?
We thought that there would be less debris on it for, you know.
Okay, so the issue is the debris as it constantly flows through the system. And my theory was, if we stagnate that water at 84 inches of pipe, do we end up accumulating excess silt in that pipe, or is there enough volume moving through it that it's pretty much going to scour the pipe regardless?
It should scour it out. The other thought that I had with putting it on the downstream side is, I know landowners would really like, and this is separate from the project, they would really like some sort of trash rake on the system. And it could go on the pump station, but it could also go on the upstream end of the concrete pipe. So I didn't want to take that out of the mix.
I understand. I'm more clear now. Hopefully I articulated it, so that's what you really meant, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
Other commissioners? Well, I'm going to follow up on Commissioner Kemp, and I'm probably being even slower, but there was an original design in order to shut off the water, but that doesn't work because of the thickness of the pipe, correct?
Correct. They do have this gate on site. So the gate was part of the bid, and it was an alternate that was added on based on staff's comments and our comments that we should have some way to shut this off. And that alternate was approved. So this change order just adds to that alternate. But yes, this was part of the bid. So.
Okay. Mr. Greenwood, I don't know if you want to have anything to add before we go to a vote. Mr.
No.
Greenwood shaking his head no. Any last comments? Seeing none, Ms. Lewis, if you would take the roll, please.
Drennel,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Kolars,
Yes.
Lipke,
Abstain.
Morrow.
Yes, the motion is approved. The change order is approved. I'll ask anyone on the Drainage Authority side if you have anything in addition for the board this morning.
I
Seeing
have,
none.
can I just
Yes, please.
say one thing? I did, we have been sending monthly updates to Jackie and Nate when we do pay requests. So I did forward that on to Michelle this morning. So if anybody wants to see monthly updates on this project, and as we have other active projects, whenever we do a pay request at the end of each month, we'll have an update. So if I need to forward that on to any board members, let me know, or you can get it through Jackie. So.
Thank you. Commissioners, I'll invite a motion to adjourn.
Sample move to adjourn.
Drennel will second.
Kemp moves, Reynolds seconds, a motion to adjourn the Drainage Authority meeting. Ms. Lewis, if you would take the roll, please.
Kemp,
Yes.
Drennel,
Yes.
Kolars,
Yes.
Lipke,
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes, the Drainage Authority meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for all your work this morning, and I hope you enjoy some beautiful weather again today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.